Hey everyone, welcome. We're here at the VICKE Hall Show, and I have two very special guests here with me. Okay, and it's great to have both of you here.
Thank you.
I have Mr. ETCETERA
Thank you.
and Mr. Grapevine. But before we get started and get into our subject for the day, I need to bring attention to this incredible, gorgeous cover art. Okay, so I have this cover art right here, and it's by ETCETERA. It's for Churches and Angels, which we'll get into the music in just a moment. Okay, we'll get there. But right now, I was like, you know what? The first thing I noticed was, like, number one, like, the images are so rich, and then on top of that, immediately it took me back to being in a hip-hop iconography class.
Oh.
That pretty much paralleled hip-hop iconography and abolitionist art. Shout out to Jermaine Archer and shout out to Sunil Westbury. Okay?
Oh.
Good job.
So I quickly want to just touch on some of the inspiration behind this art, if that's okay. Like, where did that come from and what inspired it?
Well, let me just say the core of the record is just the simpler version of it is Churches and Angels. I'm from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is nicknamed the City of Churches. So that was like the first half of it. Grapevine is originally from Harlem, but he moved to California, and that is stamped as the City of Angels. So if you look at it, Churches and Angels, because we brought together in this one song. The other half of the meaning of this record is we come from a era of hip hop, or he was introduced and like he was an artist that I used to watch on TV, and then I delve into that world, and no matter what, it's the struggle of hip hop, just like the struggle between heaven and earth, the struggle between demons and angels. So we've been struggling through this game for a long period of time, even though we see the light at multiple ends of the tunnels. It's always feeling like it's a struggle. So if you look at the cover, you see how it was sort of divided in face, because technically, even though throughout this game, we're the same person, because we're the same person fighting for the same struggle. And we put the more, everything is don't be religious, but that's what it really is all about if you boil it down to it. It's all about the fight between religion and sanity.
Wow, I love that. That's powerful. I
try.
Listen, this deserves a whole dissertation at this point. But we won't do that right now. I'll wait to write my thematic essay, okay? But I do want to just touch real quick. Churches and Angels, you got into a little bit of the inspiration behind it. But it doesn't sound like a song title. It feels more like a statement. So I want to know, I'm going to let Grapevine take this one first, if that's okay. But when you hear that, yes, exactly. Come on. When you hear that name today, I want to know what Churches and Angels represents for you.
Well,
for each of you.
Well, basically, he basically set down the guideline of what it was. When he gave me that guideline, when I was going through the lyrics on how I should approach it, I thought about the fact of, well, there's always the hidden boogeyman that we call they. And so I wanted to make sure when I did my rhyme, it would give you a hint on who they are. But by being able to, being from New York, we have a tendency to be real subtle with our ability to get messages out. So if we're trying to hit somebody who's supposed to know, will know. So that's how we do it, because otherwise you get banned. So when we did it, I threw it in code, but the folks who know, they will hear it. They'll catch it. They'll catch it in the lyrics. You'll catch it what I'm talking about. And if it feels like it's you, then it's you.
It probably is.
It probably is. Yeah.
Who the cap fits?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Wow. ETCETERA, do you want to just expand on?
Well, Churches and Angels is it's the struggle that I've had multiple times, because I came from the era of rap is a standard operating procedure, like bars and lyrics and coin phrases, and I'm big on, that's why my name is ETCETERA, because it's so forth and so on. It's don't try to put it in a box. But so many times when records that I release, whether they be successful or not, they're always trying to put you in a box. And then when you go from the underground, dynasty to pop records, what they do is, oh, he can't rap anymore. Oh, he can't spit them bars anymore. And I just want to show you, like, I'm still one of the nicest MCs, thanks to, K Slay's team, with Preacher Earl and other guys that made me one of the top 50 MCs of my particular era. They acknowledged it, and that brought that even more out of why Church and Angels are here. If you listen to the words, I still have metaphors. I'm not a very direct person. That's one of my downfalls, but I'm very metaphoric. And if you listen to the words, like I tell you in one of the verses, I'm a vet. You know how many dogs that I put down?
Yes.
Right? So, you can take it how you want it. Just understand.
You didn't come to play?
No, I don't deal with him.
Wow, very nice. I want you quickly to just take us back. Everything starts as an idea. But essentially this idea that started in your mind, that you saw, that you envisioned, it turned into a top 40 record.
Yes.
What was your original spark or inspiration? What were you seeing? What were you feeling? What was happening when this song was born and crafted?
Well, it sort of spawned from the beat, and it sort of spawned from what I originally did. So this album that I have now called Sagittarius, it's it wasn't labeled as a hip hop album, it was labeled as a global album because I have sort of features on there like Kaya Jones from the Pussycat Dolls. I have a 90s diva queen, Trisha Covington. I have a Latin, gigantic singer, Serena. I have J Marv, which is a Billboard. He's a magnificent singer, and I have other features on there. And one feature on every project that I have is I always understand where I came from, and that's hip hop. But one thing is I pay homage. And I wanted to pay homage to the artists that I listened to, I grew up on, who brought that whole ETCETERA style together. So I started off with, a remix of Renegades featuring Sonya Blade. Then I did another record with one of my icons is Kwame, from the Polka Dots. And then I went over to the one that introduced me to the underground, Bar Spit and UG from the Cellar Dwellers. And then, when I sat there, I was listening to my man Tone, and he was like, yo, I was telling him about this group, and he was like, you don't know from this group called Transit Culture? And there was no, nothing against, so I was like, but you don't rap anyway. Do you got Grapevine number? He was like, absolutely. And I said, he knows I love that song off and on. I used to, when I was on Punishment, that was one of the main songs I listened to while I was looking at videos music about. My mom was like, if you don't turn that off, and the style intrigued me. So when it was time for the record to come about and I listened to it, who was better to get the legendary, juggernaut himself? It was great fun.
Beautiful. I just want to shift really quick because I love that. Let me just a little shift. Grapevine, what was it about this record that drew you in and made you want to be a part of it?
Well, honestly, mostly it was ETCETERA. Anybody that stays true to the craft, I'm always a fan of as well. So, the object is to keep pushing the culture forward. And once he let me hear certain stuff, when I heard the album, I was just like, dude, you're good. You're good. You're good. There's nothing to worry about. So, but when he played the song, I was like, okay, cool. And I had different vibes. So, due to the fact that this is his project, you're supposed to respect the situation. So I gave him 3 different verses. Each one had a reasoning for trying to hit it. And he was just like, that's the one. I was like, all right, cool. That's what we rolled with. And it's funny because my name Grapevine comes from the concept of when you hear stuff from the grapevine, it's twisted. So a lot of folks who didn't like hip hop love what I did. So I was like, okay, well then I guess I'll be your audio tour guide. So when you hear stuff from the grapevine, that's how it comes across. So that's how my name was even conceived. So the vibe of just, the ETCETERA and the grapevine, come on, man, fill in the blank. So,
Very nice.
Church and Angels was born after that.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I don't know if I could use the word fabulous for this. I need a new word. Like, 'cause this is hip hop. I mean,
no, that is correct.
It's an artist named Fabulous.
That's true. I know, and I love him.
Yeah.
Yo, hello, U.S. You can spell it the way you spell it too. You don't have to spell it.
Okay. But I want to let me stay right here with you, Grapevine. And I just want to touch on like the legacy of Valley of the Skins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that record became a Billboard #1 and it's a hip hop classic.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear it today, I want to know, what do you think made trends of culture stand out during such a time where it was very competitive?
Well, like my boy Nas said back in the days, we tend to be ourselves. Mm-hmm. And the one thing about trends of culture that a lot of folks didn't even know at the time is that me and Tone had an idea, that's Moel, on how to approach the game. Because we knew how songs were crafted, we knew how albums were done. And
how did you know?
From listening. When you're into music, there's a certain period where we used to freestyle in 16 bars just because competition. So we actually knew, like we just had a certain inkling for music. Plus I tried to play keys, Tone played saxophone, and Nas was in different vibes of stuff as a DJ. So it all came together. And what was funny is that our album we used as a litmus test to check and see if we were on point with what we were thinking about in music. So our first single was gonna be a freestyle single. Well, just a street single. We didn't know that they wanted to freestyle. Often it was a freestyle. We didn't write that down. Like my boy Tone said, look, man, when y'all be like off beat, could you do a whole rhyme like that? And I'm like, so you want me just to slip the whole song? Like, how are we supposed to do that?
Right.
He was like, do what you do, just mess up. And I was laughing. I was like, okay, whatever. So in the song, I'm sitting down naming stuff in the studio. It's almost like Kaiser Soze from Unusual Suspects. I'm like looking around. That's why I was like, dawn the day of the funky drummer, because I saw James Brown's album cover it. We hear hip hop non-stop. So everything clicked. When I named If You Only Got One Blue Shoe, that was a group that was coming up under Quest Records. Everybody I named, Prankster Posse, these are guys who were coming up under us. So I was just naming stuff for folks who were around and made it happen. So now after that, the Valley of the Skins was the girl one. So we had to write something that was unique, and I got tired of the repetitiveness of the misogynistic vibe. Now, even though we were already raw.
Okay.
We were already raw, and there's a need for all of it, but my whole thing was, I'm not going to say shaking your ass, okay? So instead of me saying, I'll be like, move your bottom, you know what I'm saying? Or
That's right.
Say vibrate the rear part. Just there's other words you can say to get the point across. You don't have to be, so that's why.
So direct.
Yeah, exactly. And then, just flip it. And what was disappointing was that our third single, which is Who Got My Back, which was about Black unity and how we lack it, got the least amount of promotion. And we had a remix with Method Man and Trench.
Wow.
Before, like, in the early. So that's what made it weird. I was like, so if that gets the least promotion, we're on a black label, we got to rethink how we do this. And also let me know that certain things weren't in the control. So it just made us look back and be like, wow, so that's how it goes. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, decent experiment. Go ahead.
Very nice. I like it.
Thank you.
Creative. So both of you kind of have this in common, whether it's like television and music. So I just want to kind of touch on that quickly. ETCETERA, you won Best Hip Hop Album in both like the European Music Awards, the Global Music Awards. Okay, global. I said, come on, global. And in the same week, and that's something like most artists would dream about.
Yeah.
Who was the first person that called you, or what happened at that moment?
Well,
after hearing that news.
So I wouldn't say. Well, the first person that called me was my VP of Marketing, Jay Bertet, and he was like, "Yo, you're really good." I'm like, I'm blessed. I put it like that. And then of course, the team called, and the team was like, "Yo, in the same week, in the same month," because that was something that I put it like this: you strive for, but you don't expect. You're not gonna, that's not the hill I'm crawling up and dying on. And when you go into making a project, you should never go like, I want to make it the best hip hop album like that. You do internally, but publicly you want to say that. right? Because
Unless you're
then,
Kanye.
yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I haven't got to that script in my life yet. And you always want to say you've done this, you want to do this, you want to do that, but you say it privately. But for someone to actually acknowledge you, for you to be written on, formal ledger to say your album is now Sagittarius is now best hip hop album, European, globally. That means across the world, there's people that actually say you have one of the best albums, and it's deep because as an artist, that's something you always want, and now I can honestly say now it's something that I have. So you know what, you strive for it, but now it's time to do you want to stop? And as an artist, you what we do is we don't usually bask in our glory. Some of us do, some of us don't. We try to see what's next. I think it's time for me to just bask in that glory because I went from a basement in Park Place, Brooklyn, to a global artist. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I went to Grapevine. I just want to touch on something with you really quick. Just because, like I said, you both have had success in the music industry, television industry. You made some transitions. What was that like for you going from like rapper to actor, right? Because both of you sound multifaceted, and I feel like people are embracing that once it looks good. But when you're in it and you're multifaceted, you're multi-talented, like people are like, oh, you're all over the place, right? But you could be everything and do everything that you just are.
Right.
So tell me about kind of that, what was that like, that shift from like rapper to actor a little bit?
Okay. Well, at a very young age, I had studied comedy. I was into comedy from a long period of time. Plus, I went to Wagner Junior High School, and then there was Malik Yoba, Carl Payne. So, which is funny is when I got to LA and I bumped into Carl Payne, he was looking at me like, what are you doing rapping, dude? Like, you know what you should be doing. I was like, dude, can't you be glad I'm out here? And he's like, my bad. I'm glad to see you out here. But that's how it was. Like, the hip hop thing came, I was fighting it the entire time. And what made me stop fighting it was things just kept happening. Like when I was in college, I was winning talent contests. I was paying for my books, freestyle battles. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was dancing, all that. So I was like, you know what? My dad said, if 30 people say you got a tail, look behind you. So it was like, if it keeps happening, pay attention.
Wow.
And then I had a unique moment in college. It was the teacher was telling me something about the open window theory. And the theory was, we were on the second floor. And he was like, okay, if there was a fire right now, raise your hand, all the folks that would go to the steps. So, being safe, I raised my hand. And it was like a couple of folks that did. He's okay, now how many folks would jump out that window? Some of the crazy folks who I knew dealt with outside medication raised their hand. You know what I mean? And he said, now you know that you could survive that fall. That's the risk that are taken by people who want to become successful. He said the safe way would be running to that. You don't know if the steps are on fire or not. You just try and go for the safe way because it seems easier.
Wow.
He said, but you can survive that. You might fall, but you won't burn up. And you'll be alive. And from that point, I couldn't even look at things the same way because it shifted my perspective so aggressively. And I was like, and I said, you know what? I got to make a move. And from that point on, I started adjusting the way I look at things and how I do things. And it paid off. It paid off. And then, the acting thing, well, I waited till all the hip hop stuff died before I did the acting. Cause there was hating on acting. Folks who was like rappers. So I waited till my buzz died down to a crawl so I could use my pure skills and get what I was supposed to get. And it happened. I wound up being on a couple of shows. So that was good.
Yeah, and I just want to stay there real quick because you've played multiple roles, detectives, inmates, bouncers, everything in between. Okay. Have you ever gone home and your family or your friends are like, okay, like you're still acting, like you're still in mode? Did you ever bring that? Did you ever bring somebody, a character home? Did they follow you?
All right.
You take them home?
Here's what's funny. I myself haven't done it, but I have a family member who did it, and it bugged me out. My cousin, Flex, he played Michael Jackson. And during the process of doing that, there were times he would still be in that Michael Jackson mode, and I would be like, hey, yo, Flex, what's up? He was like, my bad, man. I'm like, and it freaked me out, because I'm like, dude, because he always loved Michael Jackson, but for him to actually get caught up in that.
Yeah.
And I do see how it can happen, because in order to do certain parts, you have to lose yourself.
Yeah.
And in the process of losing yourself, there is a chance your psyche could flip out, and you will subconsciously just get back in that mode to, method actors do that. As for me, I'm like, look, that's my job. When I leave, it stays there. I go home, I study, I come back and get back into the mode. Thank God for music, because it helps me do that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Keeps it sane.
Yeah.
And I want to just ask you something real quick. Maybe not real quick. You can take your time. It's fine. Take your time. It's fine. We have all day. We don't, but we do. Okay. So, because like I said, you both have had success in music and television, and then there's a blurred line, right? Because music is a part of television.
Yes.
So I know ETCETERA, is that mic on was featured on BMF.
Yes.
Okay, so I just let's get into that really quick. Where were you when you first heard it, when you first saw the episode, and what was your reaction at the time? Was it a little bit did you feel validated? Excitement?
I was going crazy. And actually, I didn't even see it. I was actually cooking chicken at the time. Right? So I was in there cooking chicken, and my man, friend, Sean Corbett, he's actually one that produced it. He texted me. He was like, yo, you looking at BMF? I said, I'm taping it. I'll be right in a minute. He said, turn on the TV right now. And when I turned on the TV, it was coming towards the end of it. And you got a DVR. So I rewound it 35 times. I was like, oh my God. Because I saw, it's like they were walking through a scene, it looks like Blockbuster, if anybody remembers what Blockbuster was.
Yes. And
he said, can I get the double, he said, can I get the double cassette? And then it came on, and I was like, hold on. Now, I've heard my songs in movies before. I've heard the songs in movies. I sat in movie theaters, and I was just as excited. But I think looking at it on TV, and then listening to it, and then remembering when we recorded it, it was so surreal. I think I went crazy after that. I was more than humble, because, and then it showed up on Up Rocks, and then it was everywhere. As soon as you type, is that mic on? And then every time I perform it, I see people singing it word for word for word, and not knowing that, similar to Grapevine, I didn't write none of that down till it was time to copyright it. And I was like, what did I say? Did I actually say that?
Wow.
I was like, okay. And then we typed it, but it was fun making it. And I think that was the key for me, that, wow, hip hop is still fun to me. It's not a job, really. It's fun. And to look at it on TV, and for that to be one of the #1 streaming songs on that show, and that show, season 2, episode 2, to be so revered, and what happened in the show. I mean, I talk about the show all the time, and I know I've done other things after, but that sort of set the tone for a lot of other things.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
So,
crazy.
and that's dope too, because that's.
But the chicken came out good too. So
You did? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it worked. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Awesome. Okay, you didn't leave out the season. Good.
No,
Very good. Okay. I love that, but I can't imagine what that would have felt like. That was dope.
It was
dope.
it was really dope.
And I love how versatile, just to see how, I think when people think about music or they think about rap or hip hop, it's almost like we have I don't want to say everyone has a one-track mind, but it's you can only exist in one space.
Nah.
But I really love how you guys have blurred the line between music, television, acting. It's almost like you guys just operate without bounds, etc., etc. That is beautiful. And I'm inspired by that.
Thank you.
I love that.
You make one person inspired by it. Thank you for saying. I'm just joking.
No, I mean but let me ask you guys this, right? Because BMF, that was big, and I'm sure you guys have so many notable moments throughout your entire career. Too many to list at the moment, okay? We don't have that much time. But I want to know, maybe deep down you guys knew you were gonna make it, or you saw something in yourselves. But when did people around you? Was there any moments that was oh, now you've heard? Oh, now he made it. Grapevine, do you, because you smirking over there.
I
feel like you have something to say.
I have several weird moments.
Okay.
I think two of the most profound moments that hit me, and it's weird because it usually goes by like your contemporaries. I knew I was good. I knew I was good because folks kept beating me in the head, and I would win battles. And to me, because I have such love for folks' growth, certain battles, I was like, yeah, that was close. Like I didn't like destroy that guy. But the fact is, I had extra stuff. I had the charisma, the presentation, all the extra stuff. And I'm listening to the lyrics like, no, this content was a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? To me, but I just would see folks go crazy. I'm like, am I really that good? So when we did the album, I just wanted to see where I stood amongst, my contemporaries. And two things happened to freak me out. One was we did a show. And I'll never forget, it was, the whole crew was there. There's a bunch of folks, like different artists all over. And KRS-One was like, basically, I want to hear what you've got to say, And when he said it, I was like, what? Like me?
Yeah.
And that's KRS-One. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm just like,
Legend.
yo. And then, our crazy twins from a parallel universe, Prince Poe and Pharaoh Munch, we were doing some on 88 hip hop, And it was funny because Prince Poe and both of them, they was like, yo, you should do some solo stuff. Just like, like you might come up with something real, like, you try it out. You know what I'm saying? You got something. I was like, I admire these dudes. These cats are my peers. So to hear it from them, that's all the validation I need. I was like, because these guys are nice. I know they're nice. So if they're nice and they're telling me I want to hear more from you, I gotta be nice. And I was like, so be it. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like that's, because hearing certain folks in the industry can discourage you. Yeah. Like when I first heard Rakim, after I heard Rakim's album and that lyrics of Fury, that's when I was like, I'm not rapping them. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have this. And then Slick Rick came out. Well, you know who Slick Rick was.
Slick Rick the Ruler.
And you go, and he was the storyteller. And that was one of my fortes.
Wow.
So when I heard Slick Rick, I was like, I see my lane. I know what I can do. I can do that. Because that Rakim stuff, I couldn't do that. And then as I got older, I learned how to even do that. And I was just like, oh, there's levels to this. And it helped me become more versatile. You know what I'm saying? But the disadvantage is it made me change my voice a lot when I did songs to the point where folks think Moel rhymed. And they were like, yeah, for all the rappers. And I'll be like, no, it's just me, man. Like, that's just me and that's only rappers. Wow. But they would give Moel props. Like, he wrote the rhyme. He rhymed, and I was like, that was me, man. But because I guess we need more videos. But it's all good. It's all good. It's cool. Hey, man, he's my boy. Give him the props. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Wow, that's dope. So what about you, etc.? Like your aha, like, oh, you made it moment. Friends, families, colleagues, where was that moment? Do you remember?
My aha moment is when I went to my aunt's house and she told me take out the garbage. And she said, I don't care how many records you sold. I don't care how many awards you won. I don't care who you rap with and how many people snap pictures, how many women chase you down. I knew from that point, I was like, I must have did something great. Because she doesn't give credit for anything. And then, when your cousins say stuff like when you sit in, you sitting in the living room and you just, hey, what's going on? They're like, oh man, here come Mr. Superstar.
Oh, come on.
Come on, you gonna pay for dinner, right? So, and then, also validation from your peers. Like when one of the guys I look up to, I know he probably, when he see these, probably gonna like, can't stand you. Like I always talk about UG, and he's one of like my icons in hip hop because I used to see him like tear like flows down. And when he told me, he said, yo, you him? I was like, no, are you? He said, bro, come on, for real. And then, I look at it from like when you're like Grapevine said, when your peers, like when your peers, and even when your peers don't say anything to you anymore, right? When they go, what's up? Like they used to be like, no, go sit over there. Now it's like, what's up? That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
The less they say, the more you've done. And you know, and then me, I'm Mr. Humility. I won't say anything. I won't mention top 40. I won't mention tours. I won't mention plaques. None of that. I'll just be like, and so how's your project going?
Wow.
Yeah, I bought it. I listened to it. I bought your merch because I still have that hunger that you're, no matter what, like your father's always going to be your father. Your big brother's always going to be your big brother. I don't care what I do, you still came before me. So that's when I know. And when kids run up to you and you know the impact you have, like the girl ran up to me, a little girl, she had to be like at least 12 years old. She was singing and she says, I just want to shake your hand. And I'm looking at it like, you know what my hand been?
You know what? Cut the
No,
mic.
I'm just joking.
I'm
You know, I was on this mic. This mic is dirty. You don't touch my stuff. So let me. But she would say stuff. You know, she would come. She came up to me and she told me. It was in front of a bunch of people. She's like, I really love your music. I love you as a person. I see what you've done, and you're a great inspiration. And if I could just do half of what you did, I think I can be at least half of who you are. And I mean, did I cry? Yeah, I did. I didn't let a lot of people see me, but that's off to the side. But then, you know, those validations make you go, wow. And like I said, when your peers say it, and then when your peers want to feature with you on records, like Grapevine, like UG, like Kwame, like Sonia, then like Kaya Jones from the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh my gosh.
She could have said, bro, but she was there. So that's when you know you've done something. When you got like mega stars. And I put all of them on a pedestal. I don't care. I put them all on a pedestal because that's what they are. To me, that was who I admire. And listen, I believe that if you practice humility, you practice loyalty, and you practice faith, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah, I got me over here like, shoot, let me go write my book, let me get my life, hold on, wait a minute, let me go get my life together,
Listen,
everything.
Do
Wow.
it, man. The worst they can tell you is no.
Wow.
The worst they can tell you.
Worst shot is the one not taken.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Start taking these shots now.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Don't.
But be ready because there's also a weird side to it. You know, you got to be careful for it. Like I mean, one of the things that they don't talk about when you're famous is if you've been around a lot of street stuff, a lot of things that are street stuff are parallel with being famous, and you have to catch what it is. For instance, I had a weird moment. I was on the train. I'll never forget it. This is one of my weirdest moments in hip hop. This is like when I was like, okay, I gotta pay attention. I do have some kind of status. I was on the train. I shouldn't have been on the train. Videos out there, but I'm bucking.
You think you're just you.
Yeah, because you know I'm living me. You know,
Yeah.
I was on a 2 line. You know, and I had the new Iverson, so I knew that's where the mistake was.
Okay.
So I'm sitting down, and I see like these like 4 dudes. You know, and I trains all these like those 2 seats, and I'm seeing these 4 dudes. They doing a point, and then when I look, they stop. You know, and I'm just like. So I'm about to get robbed on the train? Because I said, I know they ain't looking at this old lady with the bags. I know her bags ain't grabbing no attention. And these other folks, that's a couple. And I'm just like, I'm about to get robbed, you know. And due to growing up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not a thug, there is some street stuff that kicks in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, I know there's cops on 42nd Street. So if I step to this cat real quick and set it off, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be caught off guard and I got an advantage. You know what I'm saying? So now, as the train is coming, you know, the courage is coming. I'm like, because I'm getting angry at the fact that everybody up on here, I look like the softest dude, man. Word? So now I'm feeling myself bubble up. So I walk over there, you know, and it was weird. It was 4 guys, but I was like, I'm going to take this cat out quick. So I was like, you know, so I woke up and I was like, what's up? Money's like, that's him. Off and on. And then they started dancing on the train off and on. And now I feel like the stupidest dude because I'm about to crack my fan. And I'm sitting down like, what's up, man? They're like, yo, son, that's that joint. And I'm like, peace, God.
And you thought you was gonna get robbed.
Dig it.
That is
because the look was almost identical.
Oh wow.
The folks about the, you know, because I've been schemed on before. You know, so I'm from the hood. I've been robbed. Everybody a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know folks who do that, but it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just here.
He plead the fifth.
Yeah, me too.
Plead the fifth. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we you know, how you saying? Hood adjacent.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, hood adjacent.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, it's not incredible, but it's I think moments like that I think ground you.
Oh, quite.
Ground you.
Yeah.
Right in the midst of because there's that balance or that shift between. I think I'm just a regular person, but you're no longer a regular person anymore. You reach certain status and whatnot.
But it gave me an advantage because what happens is by me being like that, I had more access to the street. Mm-hmm. So when folks would need bodyguards, I didn't need that. I could walk through the hood and folks was like, yo, what up, Greg? What's up? And there's some cats, they get to a certain level, they can't go through the hood.
No.
Yeah.
No,
and I'm like, I don't have that problem.
Sound like Jadakiss. You know what block to find me on? I'm still on my block.
I'm outside.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I'm outside. Yeah.
Gotta love that.
It's true. It is. I want to know just something silly, real quick. Maybe not silly, but Grapevine. Like like we had touched on what your name meant and all that. I want you and even that story was pretty interesting. But just to kind of keep going down that rabbit hole real quick, like, was there ever like a rumor or things about your name that you've heard about yourself that made you want to right? Like while you're in that between where it's like, I think I'm normal, but you're not really that normal anymore. Like
okay.
Any other funny stories, rumors?
All right, yeah. What is normal?
You're not. Normal. It's very.
All right.
Subjective.
Okay, not so much of a rumor, but there was a vibe of like they would think you're connected with certain people, and it wasn't true. It wasn't no big thing. It was just something like I don't want to go into details.
Okay.
But here's the best way I can explain it. We went on a tour. Okay, and from us going on the tour, folks thought that there was beef because of a song that occurred. Okay, and it wasn't beef. It was just those guys attacking the folks on the song, and they didn't know that those guys were us. So later on, we performed at the Fever, and Bismarck was there. And rest in peace, Bismarck. And because he was there, he actually stopped the beef that was almost about to occur only through rumors. And because we were cool with all the parties, it never went through. And we wound up being cool. So.
Yes, he did that. This sounds like some hood adjacent.
Yeah.
Out there. Just a little bit.
Yeah, that's our thing.
Yeah.
But
okay, what about you, ETCETERA? Any interesting stories such as similar to that one, or?
Then I'm not as interested as that when it comes to that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I stay out of trouble. I stay in my house. But I do I never really was involved in a lot of certain altercations. I always stayed directional. Like if I'm here, I'm here. I'm inside. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm going back and forth. I don't really have it. If I was to say what I've seen, we probably yeah. So I've seen it. If you want to say what I see, but I'm from Brooklyn. I'm never gonna speak. So, but as far as me, I mean, I've seen things try to occur. I've seen things, but I've also, one thing I have to give my credit to myself for. I have a knack of seeing things before they happen. Like I know what the area I'm going into. I know what dimensions is going to happen. I can look at certain things in surveillance. I do my Rain Man or my Doctor Strange. So I place people in certain areas in which I can move through those areas effortlessly. Like I know, like I said one thing one time, I was like, I'm like a t-shirt. Ain't really nothing hood about me. But we all go on the same way. Like there's nothing, to avoid that. I mean, we've seen things go down, but it's like, I want you here, I need you here, and you over there. Like, you don't have to be a goon, but it doesn't mean I don't have goons with me.
Yeah.
For everybody you don't see, that's what you need to worry about. So if I'm usually by myself, understand, I'm never by myself. Right. So
I need y'all to get the message, okay? Because we said hood adjacent.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not. Don't play with me.
Yeah.
No, right. Listen,
okay.
I still watch.
Wow. I want to know from each of you. Even touching on that, because we know how hip hop can be.
Oh, yeah.
We know what could come with that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you guys have stayed true to like your sound, your art, even as lyricists. But I want to know pretty much like we see what today's hip hop has turned into. I don't even know, to be really honest. And y'all can say what you want to, and people could be mad. I call it pop hop these days because I feel like there's a rawness that was lost, like from the early like 80s into today's generation, and now all I hear is trap drums. But it is true. It's like it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm so glad it's the same song, different words on the same beat.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like you guys have stayed true to me, what I think is like the essence of hip hop, lyricists, being artists.
Yeah.
And even like this record is very like layered, right? And it could be put in a different lane. Like we talked about being storytellers and whatnot. But I want to know, like what's your intention, even as you continue to create. What's both of you, I want to hear from each of you, as far as like raising the bar or shifting the conversation around hip hop artistically and that art form.
All right. So as an artist, you're supposed to evolve, right? But you're still supposed to be based in the core. So no matter what we do, we're based in hip hop. No matter how many pop records they say I do, because everything has to have a category. You can't do a record and they'll place you in a category. So you still have to be based. So I'm a starter a lyricist, gonna end off as a lyricist, even in general conversation. My bar is raised to see how far I can stretch that. Like, can I do a country inspired record? Absolutely. It will be on the next album. Can I do a folk record? Yes. Like, just a fun fact. When I first started, or when I first listened to music, I've never listened to hip hop. I listened to country music.
Oh, wow.
My favorite artist was Glenn Campbell, right? And Glenn Campbell, everybody thinks he's a country western, but he wasn't. He was a rock artist first. And then he went to do songs like Rhinestone Cowboy and all of that. So you can't, but let me just say this to you. It seems like they only do that with hip hop artists. They put hip hop artists and say, you got to stay in this genre.
Wow.
Right? No other genre does it. Like they'll start saying, oh, you can't do this, but they'll still do it. But they seem to categorize, if you start off with rap, you got to stay there. That's not technically true. We're multi-diverse, right? Rap came from multiple sounds and genres coming together, like rock and roll, right? They put an age on rap. They don't put age on any other genre, because I'm still trying to figure out how old Mick Jagger is, right?
Thank you.
But, I just walked past like Al Pacino and I'm like, nobody say anything. But rap artists, you say, oh, you have to, no, good music is good music.
That's right.
So if you are raising a bar, no, I'm going to let you know that I'm always going to be nice. There's no way that I'm not going to be nice. Because I'm not only trying to impress you, I'm trying to impress me. Like, I've said songs like that, and I give you those tidbits to make you understand. And and I still sell more records than most of you. I still do more shows than most of you. And there's a generation out there, like, we go back to the last question.
Yeah.
There's cultures, there's countries that would pay an enormous amount of money for what we do, and they do. Like, what you hear is not always what's out there. Understand what the picture is. You could show me a picture, but show me the artist, right? I don't look at it like you, because I was, like I said, I was that kid from Crown Heights. I'm from Brooklyn, Crown Heights, from Crown Street, Bedford and Rogers. I recorded on Nostrand. If you walk over Eastern Parkway, it's like the Mason-Dixie line. I was all around like brownstones and, mid-level incomes to walk over to the hood of the hood.
Wow.
So if I could walk over Why can't I do that with music? It's just that I stay true to myself. I'm not gonna spit gangster records how I had a Glock on my dresser.
Lord.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't do that. So I stay, as long as I stay true to myself, I do what I want, and it's still a market for it. That's why when you listen to artists like Grapevine, when you listen to artists like Kwame, when you listen to artists like De La Soul, when you listen to artists like Dead Prez, you know, there's always gonna be a genre for them because they're diverse. They're always going to be a genre. That's why the resurgence of hip hop. That's why Big Daddy Kane is still performing.
Yeah.
That's why KRS One is still performing. That's why De La Soul is still performing. That's what I'm aspiring to.
Yes.
That I want to go and say, I want to go do a tour with you. And I really think artists like, you know, Wyclef that allowed me to tour with him. I think artists like, you know, Scarface from the Ghetto Boys that allowed me to be, you know, tour with them. And I think like Anaya, which is, she's a R&B diva. I allowed her, I mean, she allowed me, excuse me, I'm sorry. She allowed me to go, you know, do shows with her. I'm like, and it was well received. Listen, raising the bar, it's just, raising the bar is my goal. Raising the bar is my mission. You know, so if everyone wants to stay at a level, I think Will Smith said it best. And he's one of my favorite rappers next to LL Cool J. He said, directors make movies. I make directors. So that's what I want. I want to say, listen.
There you go.
Clutches pearls.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, that's what I want to say. Like, our artists make records. You know, I make artists.
I gotta expand on that. You got me there. Okay.
Hold on, I love it.
Yeah. You know, you get props for that one.
Yeah, great.
Wow,
that was
my
powerful.
first mind state was to bring a newer ear to rap because I listened to music that goes back to Louis Jordan, okay, which is like, you know, Is You Ain't My Baby and Caledonia. That's the stuff you heard on Tom and Jerry. When it came to rock, I was into all kinds of The Fix, Adamant. Because I listened to all kinds of music. And the thing used to always frustrate me was there are so many things to talk about. Why are we limited to this certain section? And what happened is once I started catching on to why it was like that, I used to ask myself, why are the songs with the best messages, why does the music suck? And the songs that not terrible per se, but they're not saying nothing of any substance to bring you to the table, was filled with so much love. They would like give you so much hot stuff. And I said, okay, I got to figure out a way to bring that together. You know what I'm saying? And the best way to give you an example of what I saw happening recently, I can do this in a bar, right? The best way I can explain this. So whoever has the most guap is hot. That's how we navigate who's great in hip hop. Well, then I'm hating. That's it. Because for all that, Bill Gates should spit. He'll hit. Donald Trump should drop something. Based on that assumption, if that's what's coming, that's that BS they're running.
Right.
I expected a higher criteria. I should never question why I'm hearing you. That's just the vibe. That's just the vibe just on that alone. So.
Wow.
Now no one can ask me why I got
on the record. And almost to start closing up, I want to hear from each of you, because we're here because of churches and angels.
Yeah.
I want to know from each of you, what are you most proud of about this record?
You can start that.
I can start that?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be censored.
Y'all gonna knock me off my chair.
All right. The fact that I had a chance to finally, in a way, expose things in the industry by just giving folks hints. Now, here's the thing. What happened afterwards, that's just timing. I didn't plan that, okay? Because when I said that line, I don't even want to say it, but...
but maybe you should, though. Listen.
All right. When who shot you is the question, whoever benefits off the hits ends the lesson. The fact that all the artists that die make so much money for the label, it's not coincidence. It makes you think that sometimes, do they have life insurance policies on these people? You never know. And it's, at a certain point, you go beyond coincidence. I don't really believe in coincidence anymore after I've seen what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you're caught off guard. You know what I mean? Respect the tongue that's forked and see the signs. The double meaning and read between the lines. I think the Indians can tell us about the forked tongue situation, don't you? So, you know what I'm saying? But so there's so many ways you could go into that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? But it's not to be like, because it's not a big paintbrush overall. We know who does what they do. They know who, you know what I'm saying? They call it the elites or whatever. We know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And the fact is that if you see it, they say, if you see something, say something, but then there's no snitching.
Right.
So I'm saying,
right.
And to be honest with you, I've always been anti wanting to be the man anyway.
Yeah. Because
that's a terrible job. You know what I'm saying? I've done it. It sucks. You know what I mean? Because you lead so far ahead that the folks, your friends, mistake you for an enemy and shoot you in the back. So you got to be really careful how you maneuver in those situations. And to be honest with you, you can get more done if you're invisible. If the target is not on you, you can maneuver easily. You know, it's like the black guy in the janitor outfit. You can go to any office. You know what I mean? So,
but God forbid you could pull up in a suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can maneuver accordingly. That's all.
Jeez.
So I want to compound on that too and piggyback. It's I don't want to miss. So I read this book called The Spook That Sat by the Door.
Oh man, that's like classic. Yeah.
And I think I read it while I was on punishment again. Right.
There's a lot of great things happening
while you're on punishment.
Yeah.
Right. So and if anyone that hasn't read that book, it's about someone that was invisible, that someone that sat in the rooms of the elite, someone that sat in the room of the most powerful and just got a chance to hear. They never paid attention to that person. But at the end of the day, that person had a plethora and a wealth of knowledge and became the most successful person in the room. Like when we go into these business meetings and we go into these labels, I usually go with a suit. I don't go with my, performing attire, because every person plays a character, right? And you got to understand what your role is. And that's my role. My role is to walk into a room. I'm now Sean. When I'm on stage, I'm ETCETERA. When I'm on the VICKE Hall Show, I'm ETCETERA. But when I walk in those rooms, you don't need to gather that much attention. Those people in the room know who you know, or those people know who you are. Those that know. Those that don't know, figure it out later. The bottom line is, when you look at this game from a standpoint, and if you bring it back to Churches and Angels, we're both spitting a lot of undercover bars. And most of the time, people don't take the time to listen till 5, 6 months, 7 months later. That's why this is the last installment on the album that became like the single. And to say you have a 6th single on a record nowadays is like taboo, but it's actually a great thing. I feel privileged. But if you listen to some of the words and take the time and listen, you'll understand what we're saying. And those that know this game know exactly what we're saying. Some people may not realize. Like, I started off with telling you who I am. I'm the definition of a hustle. Like, you can't tell me that things can't be done. I've done them. I've created and ended careers just as nice as pie, right? I've told you, what I'm doing. I told you how I'm doing it. And I told you. And I'm telling all the rappers that think you're nicer than me, come on. Because I write like I got a paper due. So stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, but it's only up to you to believe. Don't think because I don't battle rap, because I've done it. Don't think that, I don't freestyle. No, I may not do that now, but don't poke the tiger. Because then my last statement I would say is, release the Kraken, and you'll understand. But you know what? I'm a good guy. So I do really good records, and I play the part. But I really love this hip hop, and I would hate to see it be misrepresented. And I know, we come from someplace, but don't understand like acting. I do movies. I do soundtracks. You know, he does movies, right? He does TV shows because that's what an artist is about. An artist is a person that can actually be multi-diverse, multifaceted, you know. And sometimes I feel I lose people because I'm using a lot of SAT words.
No, I love SAT words.
Right,
You
so-
already know. You know how to get down.
But I'm not really good on, you know what I mean, and done. I mean, that's cool, but every pot has a lid, and mine just happen to be off all the time.
Wow.
But churches and angels.
You dropping bars without even trying to.
Yeah.
Jesus, help us. So where can we listen to Churches and Angels? Where can we find you? Where can people tap in and listen?
Churches and Angels is on every streaming platform right now. Is even more so now, played because of the accolades that it's received, the accolades that the album ETCETERA has received. We're actually now trying to place it on a TV show. I can't wait till it goes onto that TV show. Every song on the album is made for multi-purposes. It's to be licensed on licensed on TV shows, licensed on films, because it all has theme related. You can actually, if you Google Churches and Angels, there's no way, from my team at Idol Music Group, from the team at United Masters, from the team at the marketing team, there's nowhere you can't find Churches and Angels. Nowhere. Matter of fact, you probably could find it in the church.
Can't cut.
Because we don't really curse.
No.
We don't curse.
I love that.
So, big up to Will Smith.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, big up to Will.
Mhm.
And Grapevine. And where can we find each of you or follow them?
Well, okay.
Mhm.
There's the Instagram thing, which I should post more.
Yeah.
To an extent, I'm a neophyte when it comes to that. But
Well, he's going to be at Walmart in about 15 minutes.
No, but here's the thing that's crazy. Some friends of mine at Gentleman Records, and this is going to show you how wild the industry is. They were able to find copies of an album that we were supposed to release, and we didn't release. It was supposed to be released in 97, 98, and it wasn't released, but they were able to get copies that I couldn't get, and we did it. So, we're talking to the cast. We had our second album by Trends called When Trend Men Come is out on the Gentleman Records, and there's the other one that was hidden called The Trend Files, which is songs that we had that I didn't even know folks had access to, and when that came out. So for folks who are Trends fans, you could hear the stuff that was supposed to come out a while ago. You could hear it,
Where can we hear it? Like what platforms?
It's actually, what's funny enough is the Gentleman Records has stuff. Well, I'll go to YouTube. That's the first thing.
Awesome.
Check out YouTube and just put Trends of Culture, and you'll find it. And everything will be linked in from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
The real ETCETERA, www.imetcetera.com is spelled in dictionary. You can see the multiple projects from the movies. You can see the albums, the last album, Character, which did extremely well. You can see, the previous records we've done. I've done a song called Keep It 100 featuring Tory Lanez. Then I've done all the soundtracks from Paying Mr. McGetty to Moth to Laundromat. You could go to Sean, ETCETERA McLean. You can see the IMDb. You can see all the stuff that I maneuver. I'm the spook that's sat by the door.
Ooh. If y'all don't go get the book after
Yeah.
that, listen.
Go get the book.
We have reading assignments.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to listen to Churches and Angels.
Yes.
Y'all need to grab your dictionaries.
And listen to the album Sagittarius, and you'll understand what a blueprint of a best hip hop album is.
Awesome.
Yep.
So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate
Honored.
to what you guys add to hip hop. For keeping, I believe, these are my own words, but keeping the essence of what hip hop is alive, right? And right, like you took the commercial out of hip hop, and I feel like you guys, like people like you and your creativity, keep the integrity of hip hop intact, and I appreciate that because through your music, there's lessons, there's values. It's so rich, and so I really appreciate music like that. Truly. So thank you guys for being here today. And I'm going to go listen to Churches and Angels for the 7th time today. And I think you all should go do the same. So thank you. And it was great, God. Like, thank you for this conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah. This is something else. Still clutching my pearls. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Ta-ta.